Hey everybody, Mental Fox here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Star Trek Resurgence. I wanted to share this with you before we got into this episode. The Star Trek Resurgence website, well, when you're playing the game, you can tie your game to this website and it will tell you choices you make and then tell you like how many other players made the same choice. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys real quick. I was looking at this. I actually looked at this last night and this was like at 83%, but now it's 90%. Not you and 90% of players were interested in a romantic relationship with Miranda, and why not? Why not? And then here, choose Edsilar to go first and escape harm during the hull walk. Remember, we made her go first. We and 62% of players chose this, so it kind of surprises me that 38% of players were like, screw it, I'm going in myself. So that was kind of interesting to me. I figured this number would be much higher. Now check this one out. Followed Captain Solano's orders and blew the bolts on the docking clamps. Only 18% of people did that. Now, I will agree that I don't necessarily think that was the right move, but after that scene we had with the captain, he's like, you need to follow my orders. I figured the smart thing to do would be to follow his orders right away. So that's what I did. But only 18% of people did that. And then here, followed Lieutenant Bedrosian's advice and raised the shields against the energy wave. 77% of people did that. The other choice was, I forget the guy's name. I think it starts with a W. The guy who was kind of cool to her at first, to our character at first. He wanted to use the deflector shield. But instead we opted to use the shields. So those are some choices made by other players. I don't know what this cast adrift is. Maybe this is the last mission we did, or maybe this is the mission we're in right now. I don't know. But down here we can look at our relationships. Check this out. Our relationship with the captain. Jarrah reaffirmed Captain Solano's trust and confidence in her by demonstrating loyalty, honesty, and integrity in the aftermath of the crisis at the space dock. 9% of players. Oh, what's this right here? Oh, interesting. I didn't see this before. So, like maybe this is like a timeline of reactions here, and these are all green. Captain Solano was reassured by Jarrah's modesty and leadership potential after their first meeting, so that was a good reaction. Captain Solano was pleased Jarrah followed his orders and blew the bolts on the docking clamps in the heat of the moment. There's that, and this is the one that we just read. So, okay, we could sort these differently, and we could go back here. Okay. I'm not real sure what this 9% means. Maybe only 9% of people have gotten 3 good responses from him. I'm not actually sure what that 9% is. But yeah, I hadn't noticed this before. This is really cool. I like this, that we can see now. So now I'm going to see if we could find one where somebody was not happy with us. There's this 45% thing. No, all of hers are green as well. She was thrilled that we followed her advice to raise the shields. She admired our instincts to protect the crew. Oh, there it is again. But she was worried when Jarrah seemed willing to follow Captain Solano's orders without trying to explain the situation. And then we already read this one. So I'm pretty sure somebody had a negative or worse reaction. This is the guy I was talking about who I don't think likes this very much. But, whoops. Trying to scroll here. Every single one of these are green. He liked her professionalism. Respected our inclination to protect the crew. Yeah, some of these are repeated, but that's okay. The bullion here. All good things. Made a good first impression. Instinct to protect the crew. The doctor. Here we go. Here is a yellow one. I don't know if this is neutral or bad. You would think red would be bad. Dr. Duvall understood Jarrah's loyalty to her captain, but would rather see her thinking independently than following Captain Solano's every order. That's fair. See, I don't know. 3% of players in you. I don't know. Here is Chovak. Chovak, only one interaction and it was good. And then the guy on the shuttle, we already know that he liked us. So that's Jarrah. We could also look at Carter. I don't think Carter has gotten any negative feedback by anybody, even though her face, she just looks like she's like, seriously, dude? But good reactions from her, positive attitude, put her safety ahead of his own. And then, of course, Miranda is going to have good thoughts. And then even Chovak likes Carter. So there you go. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think that's kind of fun to see this kind of stuff. And it's super fun now that I get to see the, I could go back and look at, what happened. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. All right. That's this thing right here. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And we are going to get into the game here. I'm going to hit play, and hopefully this thing will start up right where we left off. If you remember, we left off and it was just starting a new chapter. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to hit play.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
So it's saying left stick there, but I'm using my mouse, so hopefully this thing will realize I'm using my mouse here sooner rather than later. It seems like it always starts off this way.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. Won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
There's our shuttle, buddy.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I'm sure.
The Grayson. Cool.
Come on, Diaz.
Come on, Diaz. You could do this.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Okay, lock onto the shuttle. How do I do? Okay, we move around. Oh, here's the shuttle. All right, let's lock on. We're going to stabilize it. And now... Oh, I'm supposed to rotate. Okay, if you say so. All right.
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Oh. Zap. What am I doing? Oh, okay. We're trying to push it out of the way. Okay. Take this one, push it out of the way, I think. Got to keep the mouse in the circle there. Okay, good. We're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to deflect it. Nice sound effects. Okay, I think we're good. What's this? Oh, it's a big one.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. There's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
I think.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Okay, here we go. All right, gonna display its trajectory. Oh, it's going right there, man. We need to do something. Okay, display the trajectory. We need to plot an intercept course. Oh. We're gonna move forward. Okay, all I did was hit W. There was nothing else to that.
Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa!
And that thing was flying.
Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Refocus. We gotta refocus this thing, man. We gotta refocus it. Oh yeah, yank that thing in there. Damn, how big is that shuttle?
We've got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock. The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer...
Carter? Carter Diaz. Sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
Well, it wasn't all me. I got some help from upstairs.
A bombastic approach to clearing debris. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
The storm, maybe?
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind. Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Elydia and Hotari. Elydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illidians have shared a mining operation there. The Illidians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illidians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Illidian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Illidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
The Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We could use that as leverage with the Illidians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something to that, Commander.
Putting that on the table could make the Hotari more hostile.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't?
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly knows how to say the right things. At least when she wants to. It would be unconventional.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not just included, you are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
All right. Well, I hope you guys don't mind that I pause it here. I just wanted to stop for a moment and kind of talk a little bit about what we've been seeing. Excuse me. So we saw Ambassador Spock come off of that shuttle, and this is one of those cases where I wish I hadn't seen that before. When I heard this game was coming out, I went to the Star Trek Resurgence website to find out when the actual date would be and where I could buy it and all that kind of stuff. And right there on their webpage, they're showing like little movies and stuff. And there's Ambassador Spock. So there was no secret that he was in this game, which is a little disappointing because, I think, and if you are watching this and you did not know that Spock was in this game, I'd like to know what your reaction to it was. Because if you love Star Trek as much as I do, you love Spock, and seeing Spock, it's almost emotional. I mean, I grew up, I literally grew up watching Star Trek, the original series when I was young. My dad would watch it, after work at night, in college. That was a show that we all watched. We watched reruns. Obviously, I was not in college in 1965 when the show was on the air. But we all would go down to the lobby. We all, me and my roommate, my high school friend, and other students at the school, and we go down the lobby, and Star Trek, the original series, was what we would watch. And so I just the original cast and the Next Generation cast are almost like family to me. They mean so much to me, which sounds silly to say, but if you guys love Star Trek as much as I do, you understand. And by the way, I saw your reactions to my first video that I posted, and I was delighted to see that so many of you are excited that I'm playing the game. You didn't even know that this game was out. So, yeah, I hope you stick around and continue to, follow along as I play through this, what I think is a great game so far. But anyway, seeing Spock, it's almost emotional. It just seems so silly. And I'm not a very emotional person. At least I don't express it. So I don't know. It means a lot. And so obviously Leonard Nimoy is not voicing Spock in this game, and I wish I remembered the name of the guy who is, but I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think he sounds a lot like Leonard Nimoy. I think he's doing a great job. So, but again, I told you that I'm rooting for this game and I want it to be good. So maybe I'm being too, looking at it with too rose-colored glasses, but I really think he was fantastic. And then the story, I think it's a really compelling story. I think whoever wrote this really understands Star Trek and can come up with a really interesting story, an interesting world. This is not the first time. If you've watched Star Trek, you've seen the story. I wish I remember the names of the episodes, but basically this exact same thing has happened maybe multiple times in Star Trek, where there's two races that are either on neighboring planets or on the same planet, and they're at war with each other, or they're close to being. So there's nothing really new about the story, but I just think it's really well done. And then as far as how I'm playing my character, I'm still almost a freaking brown noser, like whatever Solano says, yes, sir, right away, sir, so when I had a choice to say, I agree with Solano, I chose that choice, so I'm playing this like, my character, has told Solano, yes, I will follow your orders. So at least for the time being, we're going to follow Solano's orders. Even though I personally think there's something up with that guy. He doesn't feel very captain-y to me, and I don't know whether they've done that on purpose or whether that's just the way he's written or acted, but he doesn't seem like a good leader to me. So I don't feel real comfortable following his every decision. And maybe that's by design. Maybe they did it on purpose. I don't know. But I just wanted to say that at least for the time being, I'm going to continue just toeing the line. Whatever Solana wants, by golly, I'm going to do it. I'm sure a time will come when I have to make a tough decision, and then at some point, I'm pretty sure I'm going to start not listening to him, But for the time being, we're going to continue to listen to him. So, new characters here. Here's Spock. Ambassador Spock noticed Jara's support of Captain Solano and her distinct perspective on the dynamics of the Hotari-Elidian conflict during the mission briefing. Ambassador Spock also noted Jara's humility when presented with her back-channel mission. And then Carter also has met Spock now, and Spock, I guess likes him again. On this screen, I can't tell what they think. I feel like now I have to go to that webpage to find out what they really think. Because there's no green or yellow or anything right here. Ambassador Spock was impressed by Carter's skilled use of the tractor beam to rescue his shuttle, and he was left with a distinct impression Carter is a team player. So good stuff here. I don't think that there's anybody new in here that we need to check on. So let's go ahead and resume here with the story and see what happens next.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
That was funny.
I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Damn.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chobok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for. But first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Okay. Look, we're moving his hand around. Look. Let's see. How far can we go? We get as far as we can go. We go up here. Go all the way over here. Which button do you think we're supposed to press? Let's go to diagnostics here. Okay. We're going to begin the diagnostic. Okay. Diagnostics in progress.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Let's take a look at the ship's data recorder. I love having the opportunity to mess around with an LCAR screen. It's fantastic. It's just fun. Let's look at the data recorder. Okay, we're going to move it over here. Yep, okay, here we go. Oh.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Let's see here. Let's start with 93224.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
Fault code. Okay, I guess we move on to the next one now. Let's look at this. There's all this text over here. Can't quite read it. Almost like per the amended Cochrane equation of 2053 subspace, curvature must conform to spatial lensing along the vessel's course during warp travel to prevent structural I can't tell what that says. I don't know. When engaging a warp field, Starfleet navigational systems, something in newer are calibrated to enforce subspace variance tolerances. A bypass of these tolerances can result in unstable warp system operations. Refer to some kind of warp equations. So you wrote all that. That's fantastic. I love it. Let's see what this says.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
So we got a warp cascade failure. I mean, look at all this text that you could actually read during the warp core startup routine. Some kind of field generators work together to produce a low intensity warp field. When the warp core is engaged, this field undergoes a cascade amplification with additional energy from the matter-antimatter regulator to establish a stable, high-intensity warp field capable of faster-than-light travel. Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Improper system calibration can result in a collapse of local space, and an inversion of propulsory forces inward toward the vessel. Primary and secondary backup systems exist to prevent this failure and require service according to Starfleet maintenance schedule. This is this like actual Star Trek lore, or did these people write this? Because that's fantastic. It almost made sense. All right, there's one more here. Oops.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let's roll forward. We didn't get to read the text on that last one, doggone it. Oh well.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other.
Oh, we get to pick.
Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
Array.
I'll check the navigation array.
Tricorder usage. Cool. Your tricorder can record and analyze data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Use 2 to equip or holster your tricorder. Hold left mouse button to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Watch the frame of the screen to see if you are too far away. Alright. Let us get our tricorder out here. Oh my gosh, I get to use a tricorder. Look, we can scan her. Okay. Alright. I kind of like a freaking kid. Okay, here's something right here. What's this? Let's scan it. Oh, I'm out of range. Let's move forward here. Am I still out of range? How close do I have to get? Oh, what? Anomaly targeted. Scanning. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use Q and E to switch between different scan modes and search for glowing objects. The mode indicators on the tricorder will blink if there is an object to find in that mode. When you have scanned all objects, the frame will change color. Hold right mouse button to analyze the data and finish the scan. Okay. Yeesh. So we got to do a deep scan. Use Q and E to switch between different scan modes. Mode indication on the tricorder will blink if there is an object to find in that mode. Oh boy. Oh man. Let's see if this makes any sense. Okay, so I'm going to... Okay, so we got rad, chem, and bio, I guess. So here... Isolinear fields, the isolinear circuits powering the subspace sensor array are functioning normally. Okay. So let's switch over to bio, maybe. 1 of 3 anomalies detected. Nothing to scan here, I don't think, or is there something to scan? Okay, I'm gonna guess there's not. Chem. Here's something, let's scan this. Sensor filters. The shuttle subspace sensors are vulnerable to backscatter interference from other internal systems. Filters help attenuate such radiation and keep sensor data clean. And then here's another thing to scan here, also in the chem level. The chemical scan mode, you can see in the upper left-hand corner there. I'm using a tricorder. Subspace sensor array. The subspace sensor array monitors the gradient transitions between normal space and subspace while the vessel is traveling at warp speeds. No physical damage detected. Okay, so I think we're good here. I think we hold the right mouse button and we're out. Okay, now what?
Navigation array checks out, so it must be a coil.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Hey.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
Now that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
Go on, do your job. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back.
You better be. Be seeing you.
wonder what would have happened had we not returned the feelings for her. Would have been awkward.
Edsilar Diaz.
Maybe.
If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2.
These sound effects are fantastic. These are great sound effects.
1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
All right, you guys, looks like we're starting a new chapter here. So I'm still having the problem where when I start the game, it takes pretty reliably 24 minutes before it loads. I do not know what the heck is going on, but it does make it difficult, even more difficult for me to find time to play. Normally when I sit down, I have about an hour to set everything up, play 45, to 50 minutes of the game. And then after that, I, go through my routine of, copying files from here to there and remuxing the video files and putting everything into my video editor and then editing all together and lining up the audio. I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more to making a video than just sitting down and playing the game. So every 45 minutes you see is like an hour, an hour plus of work. And now I add 24 extra minutes on top of it because that's how long it takes for this game to load up. And now it's like midnight and I need to go to bed because I need to get up and go to work in the morning. So this episode will be a little bit shorter than other episodes this weekend. When I play again, I should have more time to spend, and hopefully the episodes won't be this short. So just wanted to let you know why the episode was a little bit shorter is all. I'm really enjoying this. I just think the story is really engaging. And, all that stuff about, honestly, I didn't quite understand what was happening there with the whole warp thing. I guess the real takeaway here is that the Resolute can't warp right now. We cannot leave this space here, and that's probably a bad thing, right? So that's going to, that's going to factor in later. So that was, I guess, the gist of all that stuff that just happened. But it was fun, using the tricorder, the simulation, all that stuff, the little interaction between, Carter and Miranda. Her name's Miranda, right? Yeah, is cute. I did not have him kiss her. That seemed kind of fast. I mean, they haven't gone on a date yet, I don't think. Plus, you're at work. Come on. Have a little professionalism, So, yeah, that's why I didn't have him lean in and give her a kiss. But it's really cute seeing this relationship maybe bloom a little bit here. And like I said, I wonder if, when she told Carter how she felt, if Carter had rebuffed her, how different things would be right now. They'd have to be considerably different because even Edsilar had things to say. She's like, come back to Earth here and get back to work, There's probably a bunch of different ways to play this game and just see how things are different. Like when we had the choice, did we want to look at the navigational array or the warp coils? Well, I chose the navigational array. You play the game again, you look at the warp coils. Maybe you get to use a tricorder and do different things. So it is a kind of a storybook kind of thing, but you really do get to kind of choose your own adventure and take different paths. So I think there's a replay value here too. And I say that because if you've watched my videos, I always feel a little bit bad about playing games like this that's basically a story, because I feel like people watching it, I'm like giving away the story for free, and then these people who made what I think is a great game won't get a sale because I've basically given it away, if that makes any sense. So my hope is that anytime I post a game like this, I hope that you guys watching it like it and do end up going out and buying it and playing it yourself. Because I think that people should be rewarded for their hard work. So just my thoughts on that. So I'm going to end this episode here and do my editing and then go to bed. So thank you guys so much for joining me on another episode of this. I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, I want you to let me know. Leave me a like or a comment. Again, thank you for everybody who left comments on the first video. Let me know you're excited to see me play this. Let me know you're still out there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.